Good afternoon. Hi, it's Dr. Liz here with drlizcoaching.com. And I'm just back from walking my dogs. And before I got caught up in my day, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about kind of a phenomenon or a pattern that I see cropping up in many, many relationships or many, many individuals. And I wanted to just take a moment and talk to you about two ways that I see this crop up, and I call it the overly efficient individual. In the first situation, I often see it's where someone's been independent or single for a while, or single with children, and so you have to be efficient. You have to know how to handle pretty much anything that kind of comes up in your world, because there really isn't anybody to fall back on or share the load with. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, that's really awesome that these folks step up. It happens to men and it happens to women. I see this pattern in across the board. And so in these things, these are folks that have developed certain patterns, certain habits, ways they go about their day, ways that they handle things themselves, and don't even think that they need to reach out to somebody else, right? Okay. And then in the other situation, the other pattern I'll talk about today, it's where folks are in a relationship, and maybe it's a newbie relationship, but typically it's I tend to see this a lot in folks that have been together for a while, and that something shifts or something changes in their world. So maybe it's they both go from they're together and everything is chugging along, and they have their patterns, they have their routines, and the highly efficient person is just managing probably way more than the average bear, or they're bringing all their expertise in there, and they're so thrilled with this relationship that it's okay, and they're doing a lot of stuff. Okay, a lot of stuff, and then something shifts. Maybe they move from the apartment to they move to a house, or maybe they get a job change, or they are now in a place where they can take on adding to an extra certification or a degree. Something else in their world adds on to it. Maybe it's the addition of children. I see that as well. And over time, very quickly times, this pattern of being able to manage it all, whatever that was, maybe it's and there's no there's really not a lot of gender differences here, because these overly efficient, highly efficient, caring, giving individuals are suddenly bogged down, and they can't get to everything and still have some time for themselves, or still have some time for the relationship. And that's where the problem starts to happen. In both situations, okay, what happens is that we're stuck in our routines and our ruts, and these other people in our world expect these things from us. We expect them, and things build up, and resentment builds up, or hurt, or misunderstandings occur. So we go to the folks that maybe have been single for quite a while, or a while, and now they have this sweetheart in their life. Okay, so they're used to managing and running and stuff. They have a pattern of, again, not relying, not reaching out to the other person, and just handling it themselves. Well, in a relationship, new relationship, there are some different rules or expectancies. And it doesn't mean you're under my thumb, but it means that I expect some interaction, some contact, to know what's going on. And if you're having, let's say the dishwasher isn't working properly, or we just had hail damage right now, and they'll say, hey, let me come over. Your sweetheart may say, hey, let me come over and help you, let me come over and look, or I can take the car to get the estimate on the dents and things. Let me help, let me be involved. And the overly efficient person or the folks that used to be, just to say, the folks that's just used to managing it on their own, don't even think about that, or to rely on, don't maybe not comfortable asking, and so like, nah, I got it, I got it. Another way crops up is that maybe their plans change, and so instead of that they were going to go from work and go straight home, maybe they change, they're going to go to work, they're going to go to the gym, and then they're going to stop by the market and get food. And that other person in their world is scared, worried, concerned, maybe a little frustrated because they did not inform them or update them, and they were worried because it's now 10 o'clock at night or whatever kind of thing. You see what I mean? Is that the person that is used to having these patterns of the results aren't always used to relying on communicating, sharing the load, or sharing what's going on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. And indirectly or unaware, they are leaving that person, that sweetheart, out, and they aren't creating a spot for that person in their world. And we all need to feel like we belong. We all need to feel like we have a place, and that our efforts and our thoughts and our actions mean something and are important. So for these folks, it might mean really sitting down and talking about how should we interact? What are your expectancies? What are my expectancies? This is interesting, or this is awkward for me because I maybe have some trust issues, or maybe I don't want to, relying on you makes me feel like I'm dependent on you. And so they talk it through, and they figure out what that new relationship, those new patterns need to be of interactions, of expectancies, of thoughts, words, behaviors. So we're going to teach those folks how to identify, how to interrupt the patterns, and then how to reestablish new healthy ones that allow a mutual interdependence and connection, and allow that relationship, really the bones to grow and flourish that it needs to. In the other situation where, we're already a couple and we have gotten into these routines, ruts, patterns, okay, and maybe I'm used to depending on the other person to do all those things. And when those things start falling away, I get frustrated, mad, concerned, curious. Or maybe I'm the one that is the super efficient and has managed to handle all these, spinning plates or juggling balls, whatever you want to call it. But I used to do it. And then things have happened. My workload, my kid load, my critter load, whatever it might be, maybe my health, and I need to back off a little bit, and I can't do that. Maybe I just don't want to do it anymore. Maybe as I've gotten into place, say, hey, I don't really enjoy, let's say, being responsible for cooking every day. I don't really enjoy that, and I'd like it to be an equal, more shared balance. What happens in these kinds of relationships or marriages is that we have established sort of working roles and expectancies. Again, we have patterns. And when one or the other decides that doesn't work for them, or they can't keep up, or they're starting to feel resentful and burdened instead of excited and happy about that activity, that chore, we've got to identify it, we've got to interrupt it, and then have some talks about what it would look like going forward. How to the both of us share this, or who else do we incorporate? Maybe at that point in time we have other family members living with us, or our children. And so how can we offload and manage those kind of things? Because in the situations where we're as a couple and we've sort of built ourselves into this tower of, information. Everyone comes to you almost like air traffic control plan, but everyone comes to you and expects you to have the answer or do these things. And after a while, sometimes they can get too heavy or just literally impossible based on the other things that have come into your life. So I want to talk to you about how you can be efficient and how you can share the burden or share the responsibilities better by understanding that we have patterns, we have routines, ruts. There are different roles that we have that are assumed or we've acquired, and we need to identify and then interrupt what's not working. No shame, no blame. And that happens when the two of you maybe grab some paper and jot the things down that we do every day, or jot the list of grievances about what's not getting done, or what you feel overly burdened by, or what they feel overly burdened by. And then we start backing it out and figuring out how to interrupt the pattern and how to put in new patterns. Because really, we all need to have patterns or habits. We do need to autopilot things. We do need to have some expectancies and ease about our relationships. So let's get those patterns identified, and let's build in some healthier habits or healthier patterns for your relationship. Have more questions? Love to hear from you. Please DM me. All right. And also join me at the Relationships Renewed, my private Facebook group. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.